Hello, Tori Bells. It's just me today, Jessica Hoy. Usually Monique joins me, but due to social distancing and the issues we've been having with posting lives on Facebook, we figured that we should keep it to just me this week. But we're excited to get back to our normal programming as soon as everything's in the clear. So you are going live. We ask you to go live and you are posting regularly, but no one or very few people are interacting. What's happening? The chances are that you have not mastered the art of storytelling. And we have been talking about this from a couple angles this week. And today in this live, I'm going to tell you the 3 elements that are essential to creating a story that captures engagement, as well as what storytelling is and is not. And before we really get started, I would love to invite you guys to tag somebody who should be watching, who could use some help with their storytelling skills. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification button. You know, last week we didn't really get into our introductions, and so I wanted to quickly say that my name is Jessica Hoy. I'm the creative lead at Tori Belle, and I've been with us since about last June, and I've floated around in some different roles. I'm here now in this role, and I have about 10 years of entrepreneurship and marketing experience. And my usual co-host who is watching, hi Monique. Mo, she has 12 years of experience working with a Fortune 500 company in marketing. And so we are so excited to be able to bring Bubble Trouble to you, where we sit down with our favorite bubbly drinks and talk marketing and social media engagement. All right, so let's get into it. And I want to start off by telling you guys I have a huge admission. I hate being in front of the camera. Drop an emoji, that like grimace face or thumbs up if you just are terrified of being in front of the camera as well. I've had to do various interviews and photo shoots throughout the years. Last October in the Tori Belle conference, I spoke in front of 300 people, and it was nerve-wracking. And it's something about maybe the critical feeling of being under the microscope, being in front of people. But I think also I'm very afraid of not having something to say that people are going to resonate with. I feel like at a surface level, myself is just not that interesting. But when I start to look at my values and my passions and the things that relate me to other people, that is where that interest is. So I want to take you on a little journey. Way back when I was a professional MMA fighter. And in MMA, and when you're about to go into a fight, there's a lot of promotion that goes around the actual fight. So you do a lot of interviews and photo shoots, mostly interviews. And I was nervous about being in front of the camera, and I didn't want to be like every other fighter and just talk about, getting the belt or getting the next fight. I wanted to have something that was important and people would feel like they were watching something that was valuable and meaningful and not wasting their time when the camera was turned on me. And so when I searched myself, what was the reason why I was going for belts and why I was competing, a lot of it had to do with I had a background from domestic abuse. And that was something I conquered and was constantly fighting with kind of the repercussions of that. And so I knew that was something I wanted to bring light to. There's 1 in 3 women are assaulted in their lifetime. 1 in 4 women are in a domestically abusive relationship or will be. And the statistics for women being assaulted and murdered when they try to leave a relationship or by a former partner have skyrocketed in the last 10 years. And so that was something that was really close to my heart and I wanted to tell people about. Knowing that thing that was important to me and why I was doing with what I was doing made it so that I had something that was relatable to the people I was talking to, people who are not fighters, of why I was doing this. And it gave me something outside of myself to talk about, because when it came onto me, I'm nervous. But if I have something of value, something I'm passionate about, something outside myself that I can talk about, there was a lot there that I could work with. And it gave me that confidence and direction to speak. So can you guys tell I just told you guys a story about storytelling? One objective of storytelling is that you can simplify a complex concept and give it a more real world application. So in that, I'm talking about, having value and being able to speak to that and speak from your expertise. But of course, what storytelling is about is not just about things that pull your heartstrings or are super serious issues like domestic violence. And of course, we also see that there's, storytelling we can tell about totally outlandish things like Joe Exotic, and people are interested. But when it comes to it, we're looking for relatability. So that brings me to my point of what is and what is not storytelling. And excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip because I feel like I haven't breathed yet. I'm still working on this being in front of the camera concept. Cheers. When we talk about storytelling and going live, when you're doing your makeup and showing people what's going on or telling them a story from your life, things that storytelling is not is rambling for 30 minutes. And it's not your sales pitch, and it's not your sales goals or your recruitment goals. What storytelling is conveying useful information, telling people what you stand for so that there's a relatability there. They know, oh, I believe in that too. And now you have a common ground to work off of. And it's emotional engaging. And when I say emotional, again, it doesn't always mean serious. An emotion is feeling humor, feeling humorous, feeling engaged and entertained. That is also a purpose and will get people to interact and stay tuned. The next point would be, and you know what? I'm going to say what Laura gave me this great advice the other day, that like you can be honest on your lives and say, hey, I haven't breathed in a while. I'm going to breathe. So I'm going to do that right now. So we talked about what storytelling is and is not. And now I want to talk about the 3 pieces to storytelling that make it move forward in any context, whether we're talking a caption or a video or a blog, either way. So the first aspect, which is super important, is to know your audience. That can either be who your established audience already is, or if you're just starting out, who you feel your audience should be. Who is going to benefit from what you have to share and what your products are that you are trying to sell. That is a good beginning. And you can then look into that and see, like, what's that age group that I'm talking to? What's their life situation? Do they go to work every day? Are they staying at home? Do they have a family? Are they single? Are they young? What kind of interests are they? What are they into? Are they into going outdoors? Are they into stories about being a parent? Are they into stories about your makeup journey or your business journey? These are all things that we need to identify and think about our audience. And that's kind of a long, like a big, kind of brushstroke approach to it. But when you go live and when you are creating content, it really simplifies it to make that, instead of a group, make it one person. Just describe that one person that you're talking to, and you talk to them. If you're giving them instruction, if you're giving them encouragement, if you're giving them just a funny thing that happened to you and you want to be like, hey, I know you've felt these awkward and ridiculous moments too, but if you talk to that one person, they're going to hear you. And then everybody else who identifies with that person, and again, this is an imaginary person, or maybe it's a specific person, but they're going to identify and feel that value as well. So that's step 1. Know who your audience is. Step 2, you need a core message. Intent is everything. Why are we going live when we put on our makeup? What's the point? Does the person really need to learn how to do this look? Are you demoing the product? Do you want them to know how to do a live the way you did it? Knowing what your intention is really helps you frame your story and gives you a point to circle back to and talk about further and really keep bringing home your point, even if you go off on a couple tangents, or say that with my MMA story, I could have told you also about how Laura had given that same advice of finding that thing that is valuable and passionate to you and bringing it back. And you can hit a same concept with a couple different stories, and there's a lot of variation there that can happen. But what's really important is setting your intention and knowing if you want to get your audience to react. Are they going to get on to your do you want them to follow you? Do you want them to write something in your caption? Do you want them to send you a message, become one of your downline? Any number of things. If we want them to take action, we need to have that in mind. If you want to just connect with your audience, you want to be relatable, you want to tell a story that makes you human and not just a stranger. Like Lauren mentioned yesterday, the first thing that indicates a friendship is developing is the sharing of personal information. So maybe you are just connecting to your audience with some quirky personal stories. The other thing that you can be doing with your intention is sharing your values. If you want to say what motivates you or what is important to you and your company, to Tori Belle, or again, it's another concept that makes you very relatable. And then the other aspect of a core message is to give valuable information. Do you want to instruct or advise? That is also a very important aspect to your core message, if that's something you're looking to give and deliver value. Perfect. And then for our third, you need to practice and prepare. I was practicing before this, believe it or not. I need a lot more practice. I need to be getting live and working my in front of the camera skills, because I have always been a behind the scenes kind of person, and that's where I thrive. But practice and preparation mean a lot. Very few people can just push live and wing it and really connect with people. Having a plan, knowing what you're going to go through, gives your audience the confidence that you know what you're talking about, and knows what to expect, how long to stay tuned, and what they're going to get. And again, when you just go for it, like I'm now, when you go for it, go do something that you've never done before, like storytelling. That's opening up, that's being vulnerable, and there's structure and nuances to it, and a lot of it you won't learn until you just do it, because going for it shows you what you're missing, and you'll be able to see that yourself. And then we have this amazing community that has built around Tori Belle that is full of mentors and people who are just here to help you. So reach out and ask for advice, whether it's from your upline, from one of our general groups. People will give you the tips that helped them, and that's so important, and we have such a great community to rely on here. So again, the 3 tips that make storytelling relevant is know who you're speaking to, have a core message or intent, and then give it some practice and prepare for it. Have some intention. All right. Well, I super blasted through that because, again, I'm nervous. I'm getting used to this, and I super appreciate you guys being along for the ride, and I hope you're getting some great information out of these. And I'd love to see your comments and questions, whether they're about storytelling or about social media engagement and where to go from here. Monique and I will be in these comments answering your questions, as well as looking for insight on what you guys want to know about, what you feel is missing in your toolbox, because we would love to give you more tools to work with and be successful. All right. Well, thank you all for joining, and catch us live next week, Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the affiliates page. We'll also be on YouTube afterwards, so hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.